Hello, ladies and gentlemen, this is Deja Vu, and I am bringing set 2 of Estro vs. Oz in this, the Shinhan Bank Pro League Round 4, Week 3. In the first set, we saw Estro take a 1-0 lead after Hiva takes out the god of ZVZ, Lee Jae-dong, on Battle Royale. So now someone else from Jae-dong Oz, Hwaesung Oz, whatever you want to call it, I'm pretty much want to call it Jae-dong Oz at this point, is going to have to step up. And it looks like Oz is actually sending out another Zerg player. No, it's not anyone that you've ever recognized before. If you know who this guy is, the only reason you might know who this person is because he played Boxer, like in last year's GOM in Season 2. This guy has only played 2 games so far against Boxer, and he lost them both. So I don't know him at all. I have no idea what even to expect from him, he's only played 2 games and they reversed the Terran. And this is going to be on Heartbreak Ridge, and Estro is sending out their Protoss player, a really not a good Protoss player in Sangho. Sangho is starting out here on the right side of the map in orange, and Killer is going to be on the left side of the map in, let's see, what color? Yellow? Yellow? I hope they change that. I hate looking at yellow versus orange. I'd rather have them be like more complementary colors or something. But yeah, Sangho, unfortunately, I have heard of him, and just taking a gander here at his record, it is not pretty at all. It is absolutely ugly. His overall win rate is 39%, and his highest matchup is actually versus Zerg at 44%. So yeah, not really pretty there for him. But we'll see what happens. I mean, Killer hasn't done anything really. You know, he hasn't really played at all. So it's hard to say though. We have seen some new players do a lot of damage, and since with this new set of maps, I think it does help a lot for a lot of creative play. And I think that new players could come up with a weird strategy that might actually be a strategy that only works once, like the fantasy build. The true fantasy build only work once ever, but the modifications of it, you know, fantasy personally and like Up Magic, a couple other players can make them work kind of. But yeah, I think new players looking at all these new maps and can take advantage of some of the features of them and possibly get wins out. This is Heartbreak Ridge, so you have a natural that has a narrow choke between your main and your natural, and then it goes out into the middle, and in the middle you just have like, there's a double expansion technically in the middle that, you know, hardly ever gets used unless you have 2 refugee Terrans and one of them decides to use it, which happened in Hwaesung versus, I forget who he's played, I casted it, it's Hwaesung versus someone. And then you have like all these like ridge spokes that are going around, and we're just seeing the basic Forge Fast Expand. Yeah, I'll let you know if anything interesting happens. Killer is throwing down a 12 hatch at his expansion, and now he's throwing down a pool, 12 hatch 11 pool, and a probe going out for a scout. But you also, that's the center of the map. Along the top and the bottom, there's these long ridges, and at the ends of them there are bases. Now the interesting thing is the top left and the bottom right have bases that have narrow chokes, but the bottom left and the top right actually have Xel'Naga temples, or just temples, I don't know, Xel'Naga temples. They have temples, they have artifacts that can be broken, and then they also have minerals that can be mined out or skipped over. So if one of these players was to mine out those minerals, it would create another avenue of attack, because what mining it out does is it gives you a ramp that goes behind the usual defenses at the choke of the natural, and it'll put you right in between the main and the natural, and that could be a huge advantage if someone can actually take advantage of it. I haven't seen anyone actually use it. Shine Cow opened it up but never actually used it against 4GG. He just went for pretty much a straight up Muta build, and yeah, and went that way. We have also seen Zergs throw up a lot of hidden expansions, which we are going to see again here from Killer. He's throwing a base actually in the bottom left, right next to who is this? This is Sangho. Keep wanting to say other people's names, but no, never mind. I am completely retarded. I got their colors mixed up. That was just a regular third hatch from Killer in the bottom left. That is fine. That is not near Sangho at all. Sorry about that. Mixed up my colors. And yeah, so he's gonna go for a 3 hatch build here, probably Mutalisks, and then or he might just go for a Spire and Scourge and then transition into that 5 hatch build that we see. The layer is up, or it's morphing, I should say. and the probe is getting a scout, and 2 Zerglings have been produced to try and ward it off. But so far they have been unsuccessful. And a cybernetics core is going down at the natural for Sangho off of his new base. So that's going to be a Stargate. Yep, a Stargate. So we will see whether he decides to go Corsair Reaver, Corsair DT, the options. They are so many of them for Protoss at this point. But then again, for Zerg's got a lot of options too. They can go for Mutalisk, they can bypass Mutalisk and go only Scourge and then go to Hydra. And sometimes you see them skip Spire completely and go for Lurkers or something along those lines, and for Hydras and Lurkers. And yeah, we will see what happens here. A Zealot moving out into the middle of the map for just to hang out or something for Sangho, and now it's just going to turn back and go back to its base. A couple more Zerglings being produced for Killer, and he's trying to get this probe, but that probe is still alive, and actually that probe's barely even taking a hit. Spire going down at the natural. Ooh, that was bad by Killer. Killer should have stopped that probe from actually scouting out the Spire there. I mean, it doesn't make a big difference. It's not going to affect the Sangho was going to assume that a Spire was going up anyways, even if whether it was just for Scourge or if it was for Mutalisk and Scourge as well. And that probe actually gets to the bottom left-hand base, so it sees that Killer went for a 3-base strategy. And the interesting thing about the way these 3 bases are set up is that if there are drops, the drop locations are actually pretty far from each other. So outside of using Scourge and Mutalisk, to use Zerglings to try and defend, or even Hydralisk and things, is going to be difficult for a Zerg player because the drop locations are so different and have so many ridges and cliffs and things. The first Corsair is out and is working on this Overlord. It might actually be able to pick it off. 2 hatcheries going down at the naturals choke of between the natural and the rest of the map. That is weird. So he's going to have 5 hatcheries down, but that is an interesting spot for the hatcheries. It's going to form a pseudo wall. Zerglings going out, and they are going to head to the natural of Sangho, and they're going to see these Zealots. I don't know if there's enough Zealots or enough Zerglings there, even if they get a surround to actually take them down. But it looks like Killer might actually be able to do a run by. The Zealots are gone, and there's only 1 cannon and 2 Zealots left. He might be able to do a run by. He should just run right by. Be careful. Just go. Okay, so he stops to kill the cannon, and then he runs by. He's going right into the Sangho's base. This could be really, really bad for Sangho. He could do a lot of damage. That is like 6 to 8 lings or so that's in there, maybe even 10 lings. But counterattack going in for Sangho, sending in his Zealots as well. And a lot of these lings are going down to probes. That was either great probe micro or terrible Zergling micro, whatever you want to call it. And those Zealots are now speed upgraded. That was why the Citadel of Ladun was used. And those Zealots are definitely going to be picking off little drones soon. The drones actually mine out the minerals there. Killer was just using them to be able to move his drones a little more. And Zerglings coming in, they're going to try and do this. They're going to try and pick off all these Zealots. But those Zealots are doing a lot of damage. I think they will eventually clear out these Zealots, but the Zealots did a pretty decent job. And more Zealots are actually coming in. Wow. At this point, Killer really needs to get some Mutalisk out. He has that Spire. He should really get some Mutalisk out if there's going to be a dedicated Zealot harass. And maybe even throw down a Sunken Colony. It's getting to that point where there's just too many Zealots. And yeah, the Crew Colony is going down here at the 3rd. And he's going to make that into a Sunken Colony shortly enough. But he really needs to get something that can do actual damage to these Zealots, because there's just more and more Zealots, speed Zealots coming in, and I assume that they're actually not +1 upgraded, but still, they're still doing a ton of damage, and they are just cleaning up these Zerglings, and yeah, there's like an endless stream of things going on in here, and both of them are trying to cancel out, but the Zerglings are just not enough. There are not enough Zerglings, and they're just not strong enough to counter these speedlots, and the speedlots do force all of the drones to run away from this hatchery, and I think this hatchery is going to go down. Unless Mutalisk pop up really, really soon, I can't see how he's possibly going to take it down. And I think Killer sent Scourge over to Sangho's base to see if he can pick off some extra Corsairs, but what he really needs to be doing is he needs to deal with these Zealots. If the Zealots go into his natural, I still don't think that Killer's all that prepared for this. There's only 1 Sunken Colony. I mean, yeah, there's a funnel that caused by the hatcheries, but it's not that strong a defense. I don't know what Killer's spending all of his resources on. This is actually kind of upsetting. He's got yeah, I guess he threw down those 2 hatcheries that used a lot of his minerals, but he doesn't have much of a military at all. He's got some Scourge out in the air, he's got a few Zerglings, but he doesn't have any Mutalisk at this point, still doesn't have any Hydralisk. Like, Hydralisk Den is just now going down. Oh man, this is real bad for Killer. I don't know about this. He does not look like he knows his builds, or if he does, I mean, it doesn't look like he's using anything that... It doesn't look like anything effective. Let's put it that way. It doesn't look like anything that would work, and it also doesn't look like he's modifying his build at all either. Okay, finally Mutalisks are out. I've been waiting for these stupid Mutalisks to come out. High Templar already out. One Orcon has been morphed, and it looks like there's 4 Corsairs there, 5, and a 5th one's being produced. So once he gets to 7 or so,